Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum. It's good to have you back. Inshallah, we're going to be slowing down a bit. After a couple of revision of previous lessons, I realized that I have been going at a much faster pace. So inshallah, we're going to slow down a bit. If at all these also seem too slow for you, you can increase the speed of the video, right? So I think this is a middle ground for all of us. In light, I pray Allah is going to make it easy. I'm going to read the first paragraph of the next page of the chapter 2, because here is the next page of the last lesson. قلت يا أبي إنك لا تحتاج إلى أن تضربني وسأحافظ على الصلوات وكذلك فعلت فقد كنت أصلي أينما كنت إذا ذهبت إلى السوق أو كنت في شغل وأدركتني الصلاة في مكان صليت لأني أرى الناس لا يخجلون من الأكل إذا جاعوا واللعب إذا أرادوا فلماذا there's a mistake here فلماذا أخجل من الصلاة وإن الصلاة لفريضة وإن الصلاة لشرف للمسلم. Good. Now let's start breaking down the paragraph into sentences and into beats and pieces. Great. We're going to enjoy this. قلت is from the verb قال يقول. قال يقول قولا. Don't forget this. So in the Quran, we'll see in Surah At-Taha or Surah At-Taha, something like that, where Musa was where Allah was commanding Musa and Harun فَقُولَا لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا قَوْلًا. So saying that is what layyin, soft word. So qawl could mean word or saying. Okay? Good. This is why it is important you memorize this verb in this way, so that when you see into the Quran, you recognize it immediately. How do I know how to change this form? Don't bother yourself too much about that. Okay? It's a bit of a handful at the moment. So bi'idhnillah, when we proceed to the science of morphology, this is where we're going to learn how these changes happen. But for now, just our general rule be to memorize it this way, which we've come very handy when we get into that science. The focus at the moment is vocabulary. Don't forget that the focus is vocabulary. قال يقول قولا. So the qala is said in the past. So if I want to say I said, it is qultu. I said qultu. So the ta is what shows that I did it. Qultu. Right, a form of change has happened to qala, but leave that. The science of morphology will teach you what is happening, but just memorize. Qultu means I said. Qultu, I said. The ta shows you it is that person, the first person in the past. The ta with the doma shows that it is I in the past form of the verb. Good. Ya abi, the ya in Arabic is used to call upon some, like you're calling that person. Ya Allah, oh Allah. Ya Abi, oh my father. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, oh those who believe. Ya ayyuhan nas, oh you people, oh people. Okay? The ya is an object of call in Arabic. Abi is, we can break it down into abun and the ya which shows I honey. Don't forget. Kaifa aqdi yawmi, we said my day. Yawmi, my day. Kitabun, kitabi, my book. Habun, abi, my father. Habun, what's the plural of habun? Aba, don't forget that. Aba is inside the Quran. Aba, ba'un. You continue revising that way. Nam qult, I said, ya abi, my father. Innaka, inna is a verb of, is a particle of emphasis. Indeed, that's how we translate it. Innaka, indeed you, right? The kaf shows like assalamu alayka. The kaf shows you, right? Indeed you, Inna Allah ghafurur rahim. Inna shows indeed, Allah indeed, right? Innaka, indeed you. La is an object of negation. It negates a verb, right? Tahtaju is a verb from the word ihtaja, yahtaju. You memorize that the ihtiyaj, meaning to need something, and it collocates with the particle ila, meaning to. You don't need to. The la is what negates this verb. You don't need to. And tadribani, the an is just a connector. You don't need to. Tadribani, the verb doroba means to beat. Don't forget, we've come across this verb a number of times. Doroba yadribu, darbun, meaning to what? To beat, right? Daraba yadribu darbun, meaning to beat, right? So who am I beating? The ta shows you in the present. When ta precedes, it's acting as a prefix to a verb, right? Okay, it shows the second person is the subject of that verb. There is a little thing going on there, but let's take that as a reference state, right? So when the ta with the fatha, it precedes, it shows you. There's a lot going on there, but let's just recognize patterns. So tadribani, you don't need to beat me. The ta shows my father, that is, I'm the person I'm talking to, the second person. Okay, good. وَسَأُحَافِظُ عَلَى الصَّلَوَاتِ. I would begin from here. Salatun, salawat is the plural of salah, right? Prayers. حَافَظَ يُحَافِظُ, we've come across that verb a number of times. حَافَظَ يُحَافِظُ, right? Mean to maintain something, to take care of something. Sa'uhafizu, this sa shows will. Kalla sayalamun. Sa, the sin, you will know. Will, the sin shows future, right? Lil mustaqbal, future. Sa'uhafiz, I will maintain. So if I say daraba yadribu, I want to say I will beat. Sa'adribu, I will beat. Sa'adribu, the hamza shows I am the one performing the action in the present or future tense. So hafidhu, I will maintain, right? The hamza here shows I am the one performing the action in the present. When it is present or future, we use hamza. Okay, so hafidhu ala salawat, I will maintain the prayers. وَكَذَلِكَ, and exactly that, fa'al is what I did. So fa'ala yaf'alu fa'ilan, right? Is the verb of fa'ilun, right? So is the verb meaning to do something. Is the verb meaning to do something, right? وَكَذَلِكَ فَعَلْ. So don't forget zita in the past tense form of the verb. In the past tense form of the verb, it shows the past tense form of the verb, and it shows that what the subject is I in the past tense. Okay, and exactly that is what I did. فقد كنت أصلي أينما كنت. فقد, so therefore, like this qad shows emphasis. كنت أصلي, I used to pray. أينما كنت, wherever I was. Kana is also a verb, more or less like an auxiliary verb. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it can, when it comes before a verb, it can show like a repeated action in the past, habitual in the past, right? Like kuntu usalli, I used to pray wherever I was, right? Something I do often in the past, right? So, and it's a verb meaning to be. Kana yakunu kaunan. Kana yakunu kaunan. Okay, good. Kuntu idha dhahabtu ila suq. When I went to market. Whenever I went to market. Let's break it down. Kuntu idha dhahabtu. A lot is going on again here, but I don't want to overwhelm us, so I'll focus on the vocabulary. Dhahaba yadhahabu dhahabun is a verb to go, right? So when it is in the past, it's with the ta to show I did it in the past. Dhahabtu. Okay, dhahabtu. Adhabu when it is in the what? In the present or future tense. Adhabu ila suq aswaq. أو كنت في شغل, or I was busy. How is or I was busy, or whenever I was busy. وأدركتني الصلاة, and Salah caught up with me. أدرك يدرك إدراك is a verb to catch up with or to meet something. أدرك يدرك إدراك. إدراك. أدرك يدرك إدراك. That is to catch up with something, to meet something. So that is Salah caught up with me. That is it's the time of Salah. I hope we get that. في مكان, at any place. Makan amkina. Makanun is a place, any place. Makanun amkinatun. Right? And Salah caught up with me in any place. In any place, Salat. I would pray. I would pray. Salah yusalli salatun. We've come across that verb a lot of times. Salah yusalli. So salat just shows in the past, but there's a lot going on. I would pray. Right? Okay, good. لأني, because I. لأني, because I. أرى الناس is from the verb رأى يرى رؤية. رأى, to see. رأى يرى رؤية, to see, right? So أرى الناس, I see people. الناس, right? I see people. لا يخجلون من الأكل إذا جاعوا. So again, law of negation we are saying here, and this verb خجل يخجل خجل يخجل خجل, to be shy. So لأني, because I see people don't shy to eat. I see people not feeling shy to eat, right? Min al-akl. The verb akl is from the verb the word akl is from the verb akala ya'kulu aklun wa ta'kuluna al-mala hubban jamma. In the Qur'an, ta'kulun, that they eat or they consume people's money. Wa ta'kuluna al-mala wa ta'kulun, and you consume money, like wa ta'kuluna al-mala hubban jamma. Akla lamma wa ta'kuluna al-mala. So akala ya'kulu aklun, that's the verb to eat something. ما لهذا الرسول لا يأكل الطعام ويمشي في الأسواق. So يأكل, to eat, alright, in the Quran. And if you go to Surah Al-Fajr, وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما, right? So أكلا, eating, right? لا يخجلون من الأكل. They do not, shy. I see people never shy to eat. I see people that they do not what? They do not shy when they want to eat, right? They do not feel shy to eat إذا جاءوا, when they are hungry. واللعب, لعب يلعب, لعب is to play. لعب يلعب, لعب is to play. And they do not feel shy when they want to play, either or when they want, right? They do not, I see people, they do not feel shy to eat when they are hungry, nor to play, right, when they want. فَلِمَاذَا, then why would I be ashamed? أَخْجَلُ مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ, why would I be ashamed of salah? وَإِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ لَفَرِيضَةٌ, and indeed salah is what? An obligation. فَلِمَاذَا is why. أَخْجَل is from the verb خَجَلَ يَخْجَلُ. The answer shows the subject of the verb is the first person, right? I. Why would I be ashamed? Why would I be ashamed of salah? وَإِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ, and salah is what? Faridah. Faridah is what? An obligation. وَإِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ, and indeed again salah. Indeed. Inna means indeed. And indeed salah. La sharafun lil Muslim is an honor for a Muslim. Muslim, the plural of Muslim is what? Muslimun. Sharaf means honor. Good. Let's read the next paragraph. وخرجت مرة إلى مباراة وكان الزحام شديدا وأدركتني صلاة العصر وكنت على وضوء فقمت أصلي وجعل الناس ينظرون إلي ويتعجبون وأكملت صلاتي بسكينة واعتدال ورجعت إلى المباراة. Okay, let's break down the paragraph into sentences and into beats. Now, and what means and? خرجت. Good. Again, we see the ta. You should have an idea. Now, we've come across this a lot of times now. Okay, you should have an idea. But let's break down. Kharaja. What does kharaja means? We've seen that in chapter 1. It means to go out, right? So this tadumatu show, it tells you the tense of the verb now, right? And it tells you the subject. The subject is the first person. I went out maratan. We've come across maratan also. I went out once. That is one time. I went out ila to mubaratin, to a football, match, right? A sports match, or if you like, a sports match. وَكَانَ الزِّحَامُ شَدِيدًا, and the crowd. This kana takes this back to the past tense. So الزِّحَامُ شَدِيدٌ means what? The crowd is large. But with the kana, it transforms it to the past tense. And the crowd was large. And the crowd was large. الزِّحَام is crowd. Shadid means something is severe, large, right? You see shadid in the Quran a lot of times. It means something is severe, something is large, right? وأدركتني, again we see أدرك يدرك إدراك. أدركتني صلاة العصر. صلاة العصر caught up with me. وكنت على وضوء, and I was on ablution. That is, I have ablution, right? فقمت, then I stood up. I want to call your attention to a pattern here. Look at قال يقول. Then we have qama, which we also saw in chapter 1, which means to stand. Yawm al-Qiyamah, if you remember when I used that example. يقوم. يقوم, to stand. Now, I want to say I said in the past tense of this of the verb qala. I said qultu. Qultu. Qama yaqumu. I want to say I stood up, right? Here the author says what? Faqumtu. So qumtu. Qumtu. Did you see any pattern? It's very important while you're learning Arabic. You should be able to, identify patterns. So if I want to take it a step further, I'll give you this as an assignment. If I say soma means to fast, yasumu is a present or future tense form of the verb yasumu. If I give you an assignment, I'm going to give you as an exercise. If I want to say I fasted, right? So how would you say that? I won't answer that. قال يقول قلت. قام يقوم قمت. صام يصوم. I leave that up to you. I leave that to you to solve, right? And let me know in the comment section if you got that right. So fakumtu, I stood up. Fakumtu usole, I stood up and began praying. That is, I stood up and I started praying, right? Okay, fakumtu usole, and I started praying. That is, I stood up and started praying. وَجَعَلَ النَّاسِ يَنْظُرُونَ, and people began, right, looking. And nas is people, right? نَظَرَ يَنْظُرُ, نَظَرًا أو نَظْرًا, to look. نَظَرَ يَنْظُرُ, نَظْرًا أو نَظَرٌ. Okay, it means to look. يَنْظُرُون is with this. I said نظر ينظر means to look, right? ينظر, right? What's now this waw and nun? It shows plural, like a lot of people were looking. Plural. نظر ينظر, right? ينظرون. I said خرج يخرج. If I want to make the يخرج plural, I say what? يخرجون. صام يصوم يصومون. يقولون يقومون. With the waw and the nun. You will see that a lot in the Quran. يفعلون, يجلسون, يضربون. ينظرون إلي, they were looking at me. ويتعجبون, and they were amazed. They were looking at me in amazement. ويتعجبون, they were looking at me in amazement. They were amazed, right? تعجب يتعجب, تعجب means to be amazed. وأكملت صلاتي. أكمل يكمل إكمال. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم. We've come across this verb in chapter 1, right? To complete. I completed my salah. The ta shows in the past. I completed my salah bisakinatin, that is with tranquility. Wa'tidal, and humility, calmness and humility. Raja'a yarji'u ruju'un. Nam, ruju'un. That's the verb to return. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. In another form, right? Raji'un. We will return to him. So, but here it's the verb raja'a yarji'u ruju'un, right? So the ta also shows I returned to the sports match. Okay? Good. Barakallahu fikum. The next paragraph. Walamman, I want to call our attention to this important reading rule. Whenever we see a mad, this is a mad, and we see an hamza, hamzatul wasl, this kind of hamza, or you see a sword, a small sword on it. Whenever you see it in that format, you cancel the mad and this as well. It goes. You won't pronounce it, right? So what you just say is mim shara fatha ma, and the noon with the sukun man. Walamman tahatil mubara. Walamman tahatil mubara. It is ignored. The mud is ignored whenever it comes before the hamzat al-wasl. Walamman tahatil mubaratu jaha ilayya rajulun wasa'alani an ismi wasmi walidi. Again, we ignore the hamzat al-wasl when it is in the middle of the word. In the middle of a word, right? Wasmi walidi. Wasa'alani an sinni fa'akhbartuh. فأثنى على أبي خيرا ودعا لي بالبركة وقال ما رأيت ولدا يصلي في المباراة ويترك كثير من الناس الصلاة في هذا الوقت فأمدت الله وشكرت أبي. Okay, this is another paragraph. Let's break down the paragraph into sentences and the sentence into word and piece out the word as well. Okay, ولما انتهت المباراة. انتهى ينتهي انتهاء is when something ends. انتهى to end. انتهى ينتهي انتهاء to end, right? The verb to end. ولما انتهت, when the لما بلغت السابعة, don't forget we said لما means when, right? When the sports match ended, this is, right, a past tense form of the verb. When the sport match ended, جاء إلي رجل. What is the verb جاء? إذا جاء نصر الله, when it comes, when it arrives. جاء يجيء مجيء. جاء يجيء مجيء. Right? Good. جاء to come, to me. Right? A man came to me in the past tense form of the verb. A man came to me. وسألني رجل. What's the proper of رجل? رجال, don't forget. وسألني. سأل is the verb to ask. سأل يسأل. And you see this verb a lot in the Quran. يسألونك عن الساعة. يسألونك أيان مرساها فيما أنت من ذكراء. سأل يسأل, to ask. In the Quran, it's inside the Quran, so it's a verb you need to pay a lot of attention. Don't forget, the purpose of these classes is to focus on the Quran. Right? The focus is on the Quran. This verb, you see it in the Quran. Sa'ala, to ask. Yas'alu, he will ask, or he is asking. Okay? And the masdar, the verb now is su'al or mas'alatun. Okay? Good. Sa'alani, he asked me, an ismi, of my name. He asked me about my name. He asked me of my name. So ism is name. Ism, the plural of ism is asma. Wasmi walidi, and the name of my father. We've come across ism and walid. Walid, when it is two, walidan or walidain. Wabil walidaini ihsana. Do good to both of your parents. Alright. Wasa'alani, and he asked me, right, and sinni, sin, my age. Right? Sinni, that he asked me of my age. فَأَخْبَرْتُهُ, right? And I gave it to him. أخبرت is what I informed them. So the verb أخبر, the verb أخبر يخبر إخبار. It means to inform someone of something. إخبار. You inform someone of something. That is, I then gave him that information. Right? And I gave him فأثنى على أبي خيرا, and he praised he praised my father. He praised my father and also kind of, made dua for him. So athna is the verb to praise. Right? He praised him and made dua for him. So فأثنى على أبي is to praise. أثنى يثني and إثناء. Right? وَدَعَى لِي بِالْبَرَكَةِ, and he prayed for me that I be blessed. He prayed for me that I be blessed. And he said, مَا رَأَيْتُ وَلَدًا وقال, and he said, ما رأيت ولدا, I haven't seen, ما رأيت ولدا, I haven't seen a boy. This is from the verb ra'a that we saw a while ago, ra'a, but with the tie shows high in the past. رأيت, ما رأيت ولدا, I haven't seen a boy, يصلي في المباراة, praying in sports match, ويترك كثير من الناس الصلاة في هذا الوقت. A lot of people, ترك يترك, tarkun, we've come across the verb to leave something, to abandon something. So if you go back to chapter 1, you see that verb, tarka yatruku tarkun, to abandon something, right? A lot of people abandon as-salah fi hadha al-waqt, in this time, right? Because of match and all. So the author is trying to, while trying to teach us vocabulary, he's also trying to kind of instill in us some Islamic values, right? Don't allow anything get in the place of ibadah between you and Allah. Don't allow anything whatsoever get in between you and Allah. So inshallah, we're going to also release the introduction where the author carries us along about his philosophy about this project, because this is a project to him, right? فَأَمِدْتُ اللَّهِ حَمِدَ يَحْمَدُ حَمْدٌ Alhamdulillah, right? Which is the praise, the verbal noun, right? Hamida is to thank. Yahmadu is thanking, or he will thank. For here, fahamidullah, again the ta in the past. So I thanked Allah, wa shakartu abi, and I thanked my father, right? I thanked Allah, I praised Allah, right? So, and I also thanked my father. So like I said, all praise is to Allah. So I praised Allah and I thanked my father. The last paragraph for this page, let's do that quickly. وَلَا أَتْرُكُ الصَّلَاةَ إِذَا كُنْتُ مُسَافِرًا وَأَرَى كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ يُصَلُّونَ فِي الْحَضَرِ وَيَتْرُكُونَ الصَّلَاةَ فِي السَّفَرِ وَيُصَلُّونَ فِي الصِّحَّةِ وَلَا يُصَلُّونَ فِي الْمَرَضِ مَعَ أَنَّ الصَّلَاةَ لَا تَسْقُطُ عَنْ أَحَدٍ. Very fast. La, we already know is negation now. The Hamza shows the first person is performing the verb in the present or future tense. So here atruku means I do not, abandon salah. I do not abandon salah either kuntu musafira, when I am traveling. Even when I'm traveling, I don't leave salah. Wa ara kathiran, and I see. Ara ayara, again, the Hamza shows I am the one performing that is why it is aro, not yaro. Okay, haro, yaro. Okay, I just switched the ya. The ya has is a subject, is linking to a particular pronoun, right? But when I switch it with Hamza, it shows the first person. The ta, if I say taro, it shows the second person, male. Okay, put that in mind. So wa ara kathiran minan nas, and I see a lot of people. كثيرا من الناس, I see a lot of people يصلون, right? In Allah malaika يصلون, but in that place it's not like prayer the way we mean it, right? So there is a subtlety there, right? So, but I don't want to go into that detail. Let's focus. Salla yusalli, when it is a lot of people praying, yusallun, right? Yusalluna fil hadar, they pray in residents in town, when they are in town, right? When you are in hadar, you are in town. وَيَتْرُكُونَ الصَّلَاةَ فِي السَّفَرِ, and they abandon the prayer when they travel, right? وَيُصَلُّونَ فِي الصِّحَّةِ, they pray when healthy. As-sihha is to be healthy. وَلَا يُصَلُّونَ فِي الْمَرَضِ, and they don't pray when sick. Al-marad is sickness, from the verb marida, يمرض, marad, right? That's verbal now. مع أن الصلاة, despite or although the prayer, لا تسقط عن أحد, it never falls from a person in any circumstance. Every time as a Muslim we must pray, right? Even if it is just to use your hands to make signals, to make gestures, right? You have to pray. Okay? Okay, good. Last paragraph, and we call it a day بإذن for this lesson. وأرى كثيرا من الناس لا يصلون باعتدال وسكينة ويسرعون كثيرا ولا أذكر أني تركت صلاة في هذه السنوات الأربع وإذا نمت عنها أو نسيتها صليتها إذا تذكرت وإني أسأل الله تعالى التوفيق والثبات. Okay, good. Last paragraph. وأرى كثيرا. Again, we see the أرى again. رأى يرى رؤية. رأى يرى رؤية. The Hamza shows high, the subject, the first person. وأرى كثيرا. I see a lot of people لا يصلون باعتدال. They don't pray with اعتدال. اعتدال means calmness, right? I see a lot of people, pray without, or they don't pray with what? With calmness. They do not pray with calmness. وسكينة and tranquility. ويسرعون كثيرا and they rush. أسرع يسرع. يسرع is the verb to fast think something or to rush something. إسراع. إسراع. Right? So يسرعون كثيرا, they want to rush the prayer very fast, like I want to get to where I'm like that. We're supposed to stand in stillness and calmness before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very beautiful book, isn't it? Right. ولا أذكر أني تركت صلاة في هذه السنوات الأربع. ولا أذكر, I never remember a time. ولا أذكر أني تركت الصلاة. I never remember a time that I abandoned a prayer في هذه السنوات الأربع, in these last 4 years. وإذا نمت عنها, whenever I overslept, or if I overslept, or nimtu is from the verb nama, yanamu. Don't forget yanamu, nauman or naumun. So nama is he slept. If I want to say I slept, I will say nimtu. Just memorize. We will see a lot of patterns like that. Right? So nimtu, I slept. Aw nasitu, or I forgot. Nasiya. Nasiya. Yansa. To forget. When Fir'aun was and Musa were conversing, Musa said, alayhi salatu wasalam said, La yadillu rabbi wa la yansa. My Lord don't go astray, and he doesn't also forget, unlike you. Right? This is why we need to understand Quran. And there was a little satire going on, right? Between that conversation between Musa and Fir'aun, right? Musa, that you called yourself Ana Rabbukum al-Ala, and now you're asking me Fama Balu al-Qur'an al-Ula. You want to know the incident of the past, right? But you called yourself God. You are supposed to know everything. You are supposed to be all-knowing. You are supposed to be, omnipotent, omniscient, right? And now you're asking me Fama Balu al-Qur'an al-Ula, and the response Musa gave was very suitable to that situation. He said, Qala ilmu inda rabbi. My Lord knows, unlike you, my own Lord knows everything. La yadillu rabbi. The one I watch doesn't go astray. He has information about everything. Wala yansa, he doesn't forget everything, unlike human beings. Okay? Where we diverted was nasiya yansa is also in the Quran, and the verb is nisyan. Nisyanun. Don't forget, we need to link back to the Quran, and let's read the Quran a lot of times, please. This is how this is going to be fruitful, right? Let's read the Quran. We can start by reading a page a day. Then we form an habit over that, and we increase it to 2 pages, the most important thing is, to start small and then, improve as time goes on. Barakallahu fikum. So when I see to her, or if I forget it, that is, I forget prayer, to her, I pray it whenever I remember. I said either I don't forget sometimes, right? It changes the time reference of the verb, not the tense of the verb, but it changes the time reference. Like either ja and Nasrullah, we don't translate it that when Allah's help came. No, we say when Allah's help come because of the either. All right, good. Wa inni as'alullah. Again, Hamza here shows I. All right, from the verb sa'ala yas'alu, su'alun or mas'ala. Okay, as'alullah, and indeed I pray to Allah Ta'ala at-tawfiq, which is success. At-tawfiq means success, wa thabat, and firmness, right? Or steadfastness, right? At-thabat means firmness or steadfastness. Barakallahu fikum. I do hope that Allah make this beneficial for all of us. Thanks for staying till the end of the lesson. I pray Allah make it beneficial and make us the people of the Quran. Hope to see you again. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum.